Today we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials. Now, this is going to be very different than adding and subtracting. See, adding and subtracting, you're putting together like terms. You're putting together things that are the same, and you're just saying how many of this do you have and looking for how many you have. Multiplying actually changes things. So if we look at this x squared times x cubed, I can actually multiply those. And remember, multiplying, or exponents are just multiplying. So like x squared means x times x. And then we have times x cubed, which is be 3 of them. So really what I have is I have 5 of them. So if you remember our exponent rules is when you multiply bases, you add exponents. So this is really x to the 5th. So now if we look at multiplying big polynomials here, I have x minus 3 times negative x squared plus 2x minus 4. Now you could do something we call FOIL, only here it's like FOIL because there's so much going on. What we have to do is we have to take x times all of that stuff, and we have to take negative 3 times all of that stuff. One thing we've been working on in our class to be able to do this really organized is to use the box. But now, instead of a 2 by 2 box, we're actually going to set up a box that fits all of it. We're going to go 2 because it's x minus 3, but then we're going to have to go by 3 because of the quadratic there is x squared plus 2x plus 4, and so there's 3 terms. So we need to split it up into 3 there and 2 there. And now it's just the same idea as what we've been doing. So we have x times x squared gives me x cubed. X times 2x gives me 2x squared. Remember, we're multiplying here. X times 4 gives me 4x. And then on the bottom, negative 3 times x squared gives me minus 3x squared. Negative 3 times 2x gives me minus 6x. And then negative 3 times 4 gives me negative 12. Now, I need to point out and make sure we remember this. Our answer is what's inside the box, what's in the box. And when we're doing that, what we're saying is we're adding our like terms. So we're saying, well, we have x cubed, but I don't have any other x cubes in here. So I have that it equals x cubed. And then I'm looking for the next one. I have a 3x squared negative, and I have a 2x squared positive. And so when I add those together, I get a negative x squared. And then I look for my x's. I have a negative 6x and I have a 4x. So if we add those together, we get negative 2x. And then there's only the minus 12. So these two things multiplied together gives me x cubed minus x squared minus 2x minus 12. And that's what we're going to keep on doing as we go here. We just keep setting up boxes that can fit all of it and multiply it together and see what we have in the box. So again, this is going to be a 3 by 2 again. The 3 is for the 4x squared plus x minus 5, and then the 2 is for the 2x plus 1. And so now we go ahead and multiply on the top row there. We're going to have 2x times 4x squared would be 8x cubed. Remember, we're adding exponents in. 2x times x would be 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 would be minus 10x. 1 times 4x is 4x squared. 1 times x would be 1x. And 1 times 5 is negative 5. So then my answer is what's inside the box. I have 8x cubed. For my x squareds, they'll usually be on the diagonal, which is kind of nice. We get plus 6x squared. And then for the x's, I have 1x minus 10x would be negative 9x. And then minus 5. Oh, this is a fun one. Now, here we have 3 things being multiplied, which we can't really do on paper because we're not 3-dimensional on paper. So what we're going to do is we're just going to first take the first 2 and multiply them out. So this is our normal stuff that we usually do. We have x minus 1 and x plus 4. We get x squared minus 1x plus 4x minus 4. So what we have is we have x squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay, this right here is all of that stuff right there. But notice we still have to take it times x plus 3. So now I'm going to do another box that sets that up. So I have x squared plus 3x minus 4. And then I have x plus 3. So we have x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x. In the bottom row we have 3x squared, 9x minus 12. So then all of this, when we multiply it together, gives us x cubed plus 6x squared plus 5x minus 12. And that would be your answer for that. All right, so now it's just a matter of practicing and making sure that we know some of the silly things, tricky things that can happen. So if you look at this one, we have 3x minus 2 and 3x plus 2. So we'll multiply those together just using a box. This shouldn't be difficult at all. So we have 3x minus 2, 3x plus 2. So we have 9x squared minus 6x plus 6x, and then that would be 2 times 2 would be minus 4. Now, these guys cancel out, the 6x minus 6x cancel out, so we just get 9x squared minus 4. So notice x canceled out. If you kind of remember when we were doing complex numbers, this is like a complex conjugate where the i's canceled out, only this time it's the x's that cancel out. Now I want you to be careful with this next one, 5a plus 2 squared. Do not take that 2 and distribute it, because if you do that, you're going to miss out a whole part of the answer. See, when you have this squared business, you can only distribute if it's all being multiplied, but here we're adding. So what you should do is you should rewrite it. It's 5a plus 2, and the squared part means you take it times itself. So we're going to have another 5a plus 2. So we set it up, 5a plus 2 and 5a plus 2. So then we get 25a squared, don't forget the a squared part, plus 10a, plus 10a, plus, let's see, 2 times 2 is 4. So we get 25a squared plus 20a plus 4. Okay. Now this next one, 4n minus 5, 4n plus 5, if you set up the box, again you're going to get where the n's cancel out because they're conjugates. So you can go ahead and do that one yourself if you want. There's one more I want to do, this ab plus 2. You know that ab can sometimes be a little bit confusing. And then it's to the third power. So this is really ab plus 2 times ab plus 2 times, whoops, ab plus 2. So this is another one of those where I have 2 steps. I'm going to first multiply the first 2, and then I'm going to take those 2 times the other one. So I start with one box. I've got ab plus 2 and ab plus 2. So in the top left, I'm going to have ab times ab, so that's a squared b squared. And then in the top right, I get 2ab. In the bottom right, I get 2ab. And in the bottom right, I get 4. So now I have a squared b squared plus, and then the 2 diagonal there, that diagonal I get 2ab plus 2ab, that's 4ab plus 4. And I've got to take that, remember this is all what that is, I still have to take it times that, so ab plus 2. So I'm going to set up another box here. Oh, well, let me go any farther, alright. So I set up another box. I think I'm going to move this up so I have room. So I have my 3 by 2 this time. So I've got a squared b squared plus 4ab plus 4. And then on the side I have ab plus 2. So now as I multiply in the top left, ab times a squared b squared, I've got a cubed b cubed. So be very careful about this. And then the next one I have 4ab times ab, that'd be 4a squared b squared. And the last one I'll have 4ab. On the bottom left I get 2a squared b squared, 8ab, and then 8. So my answer is going to be a cubed b cubed plus the 2a squared plus b squared plus 4a squared b squared is going to be 6a squared b squared plus 8ab times 4ab is 12ab, and then plus 8. And that would be your answer for that.